and welcome to the SmackDown review. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by Hamflett from WhatCulture, here to review everything that happened on Friday night's episode of SmackDown. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. We do daily wrestling podcasts where we're not going to review SmackDown, but also the show formerly known as NXT 2. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week, complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Hamflett to review Friday night's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. SmackDown on Friday, of course. You guys haven't mentioned that.
Thank you. Thank you, SmackDown. Thank you.
Before we get it. What are you doing?
Cannot say anything. No, I can't. It's all dark. It's all warm. Oh, what?
Hang on. Hello?
Hello. Where is it? We've broke the fourth wall. He's there.
It's just the sound from beyond. Ooh.
We can always hear him, but you can hear him now as well.
Do you know why that is?
Why is that?
Because we are one.
Wait, I'll have to get the graphic up now.
The plug was too slick.
I was about to say it's a big week of celebrations, and before we get into SmackDown, the coverage the next few days is going to be a little bit weird. There's no Raw preview.
Awesome.
Yeah, no Raw preview or Collision review today.
Taped and respectively.
Yeah. But there is, like you say, a reason for that. We're having a big celebration this week with the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast YouTube channel being, well, over a year old now. Wacky summer means we have to delay it a little bit. But yes, instead, at 2 p.m. GMT today on the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast channel, we'll be doing a live stream, as it is the week of Full Gear, watching some of our favourite Full Gear matches. Loads of big things planned throughout this week as well. We have special compilations of the Dead Man and the Collision Cops on Tuesday and Thursday.
Good stuff.
Respectively, but also respectfully, obviously, to the Dead Man. Wednesday, we are going to be doing a live stream watching Things You Suggest. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah.
And Friday, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this came out and seeing people's reaction to it. It's Get the Table for 3. So it's talking about where things all began back in the day and eating some food too.
Respecting our own business.
Respect to the king.
We will see. Nothing but respect for the king. Best ever Burger King poster thing I ever, bit of marketing I ever saw was when they had the thing up last year when it said, why work for a clown when you can work for a king?
Yeah.
I was like, that's good Challenger brand stuff. Remember that when that happened in our space? Mm-hmm. Remember good Challenger brands? That was a better time.
But yes.
It was the same time because there was one good show.
Did you also hear about the fact that work very kindly paid for our food?
Yes.
But no one told the appropriate bosses who approve that sort of thing. Yeah. So when you and Sidrick sent through your receipts for that, one of the higher-ups apparently contacted Andy going, why are the Dudleys asking for burgers?
Yeah. I will neither confirm nor deny if upon looking at my receipt, I'm like, why is he ordered for a family? But you'll have to see for yourself what I elect to polish off.
Oh, so hang on.
And get the table for 3.
I would just like to point out, now that I have the power to do this, and I can say it from the comfort of my own chair, the person responsible for letting somebody know it is not in this room. Honest, it wasn't me.
I thought you were going to say the person responsible for your dietary choices is you and you alone.
Is you.
I thought you were going to say the person responsible have now been fired. So
No, he's still sitting next to you.
Thanks for your service, Phil Chambers. No,
it's been a hell of a run.
Phil's fine. But what we're here to talk about, SmackDown, which was goated.
It really was. It's been better than Raw of late, and I don't know if it was.
When you say of late, you mean the last 5 years?
No, I mean the last 5 weeks maybe. But you know, Raw's had it Raw's had it beat for the 5 years before that, maybe.
It's sort of like the constantly ever-changing brick-ass crowbar sort of...
That is exactly
SmackDown, Raw, and NXT are brick-ass and crowbar.
That's it. They're always getting up to good rather than no good. You just don't know who's getting up to the most good. He's swinging it about the most, as we saw in that
AI.
horrifying AI image. Yeah, this is Ass's week.
Okay.
This is Ass's. If Brick is Raw and Ass is SmackDown and Crowbar is NXT.
The best of all, yeah.
Well, because that's where we've seen the crowbar used. That's where the crowbar is deployed the most. Yeah, it's Ass's week yet again.
And that's a good thing, just to clarify.
Yeah, Roman Reigns.
Ass is good. Michael Hamflett, 2024.
Correct. Well, we talk about eating on this podcast, don't we?
Do we?
Like, we like to leave our listeners and viewers well fed.
Indeed.
I enjoy, like, artisanal cuisine. Art is anal. The Roman Reigns...
Susan album party, wasn't it? That was it.
Yes. The Roman Reigns return to Ass, where he's worked like 6 asses in a row. What are you laughing at?
I acknowledge you, my tribal chief. Sorry,
Just leave it on.
I know, but I don't know if you want to be
I'll
like...
just keep leading away.
Okay.
I preferred it when I didn't have a microphone. Oh yeah, I'm just going to be sitting going, hey guys.
Taking personal calls.
We don't, what he'll do is just we'll say something and he'll go, bollocks.
Yeah. Well, that's a load of
You've got a very good NPR voice. Nicholas, Public Radio.
It's only because I'm scared that if I speak louder than this, it'll completely peak the microphone. So...
No, I don't know if it's this Roman Reigns return and just having maybe like the extra star that's meant. Not that the Bloodline storyline wasn't picking up a bit of steam when they ran it into Cody in the summer, but it just feels like with the 2 headline stories making the show feel massive, really massive. Everything, as is the case, this is why I do my regular temperature checks. That's, as is the case when the product is hot, you have the best chance then to elevate as much as you possibly can and should be encouraged to. Try and get as many people and things and ideas over as you can when it's like this. And I think we're starting to see, Cody's the world champion and he's the hottest one they've had, well, since the last one in Roman Reigns. But he's part of this like incredibly lucrative period for WWE as a proper like needle-moving champion. The second in a row. Roman Reigns kind of doesn't need the belt right now because they're in this massive story. You've built a bunch of stars around that Bloodline angle. And then in the meantime, right, well, who can we elevate in the mid-card? Well, the women and the tag teams desperately need it. Like, desperately need it. So what can we do for those storylines? Well, if nothing else, we can give them exposure and we can give them TV time because everything else is taken care of. And I know this is like covering kind of a lot of the details of what we probably both liked about everything we saw it. This was the second week in a row. Was it just me, or was it notable again that this feels like they're dealing with a small cast in the best way?
Yes.
Like, you have got a certain set of characters that you were seeing across multiple segments that it's, like, easy to follow because, yes, we're all stupid because we enjoy the Fed. But, like, just having focus upon a set cast of characters, and a relatively small one at that, has really, really... like tightened up some loose fittings on SmackDown for me. This sense that like, does like this show really matter every week?
Yeah.
Like, I feel at the moment like it matters more than Raw.
Indeed, yeah. And you know, there was one thing where, as it was happening, I was like, but they covered it and then massively changed the direction that I did not see coming with regards to the United States Championship and all that. So I was happy about that because for a split second I was like, I love him, don't get me wrong, but I was like, we're just going back to Santos, are we?
Yeah.
But and we'll get into that. But yeah, like you say, I'm always pitching a tent in my trousers when it comes to SmackDown. But it isn't just now like the Bloodline is like the big tent pole or Cody's, and then it's just like, yeah, some other stuff in there as well. Like everything felt important across this show.
I was trying so hard to follow that analogy through, and it just got weird.
It's something about tent poles.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, Cody Rhodes comes out to start the show.
Start picturing this man Rossa swinging around it like a maypole.
But he's not wearing a suit. But he is here to talk business. None of this, one of you guys are going to talk about from him this
He didn't
week.
do that this week.
No.
It was really odd, yeah.
He's angry. They show footage of Kevin Owens breaking Randy Orton's neck or hitting him with a pile driver at the very least. And he says, Kevin Owens, you've crossed quite the line. Calls him out to the ring. Get your ass out here, basically. Owens doesn't come out. Instead, it was a very recognizable face, but a name that I can't actually remember. The SmackDown GM walks down there. He says, look, I know you're angry. Mentions how Orton has severe cervical trauma. Love that terminology. He explained, about the pile driver being banned for good reason for many, many years within WWE, and agreed that Owens crossed the line last week. But until things are figured out, he cannot have Owens at these shows. Cody warns the SmackDown GM, can't remember what his name is, that he's making Owens a martyr. He says, look, trying to hit him in the wallet won't work. He drives a fancy car. What you playing at? SmackDown GM, whose name I can't remember. He drives a fancy car, as I just said.
It wasn't my car.
It was, though, of course.
It was.
Please just let me handle Kevin Owens. This is Cody saying, please let me handle Kevin Owens. Nick says, look, this isn't about money. It's about the roster, knowing I'm in charge. If I give them an inch, they'll take a mile, that sort of thing. Kevin Owens cannot be here until this situation is resolved internally. Cody simply says, internally? Be real. SmackDown GM, can't remember what your name is.
That's what he said.
I know you, whatever your name is, are a wrestler, a good man. But, if you were there in that ambulance with Randy Orton, how would you react? Talked about his big celebration at WrestleMania 40. Orton telling him Cody he was proud of him. It's a moment he'd cherish forever. And now Owens is saying that Orton's new injury is because of him. Well, if I can't handle my business, my problems with Kevin Owens in a WWE ring, what do you expect me to do? Do you want me to go and attack him in his home? I know that's not what you want, SmackDown GM. Can't remember what your name is. But that might happen. He says, look, the ball's in your court, SmackDown GM. Can't remember what your name is. But I won't be waiting long. And he dropped the mic and stormed off.
I thought this was terrific from Cody Rhodes. Not that he really ever does a bad job with this. I would say probably one of the only promos that I can remember where Cody didn't quite nail it was one of the ones where they were trying to, both him and Gunther really were trying to feel their way through the early stages of that Saudi Arabia title thing. And this is it, isn't it? When you can lift like the exception out, you realise it's rule proven. And ultimately what he does is every single week comes out and doesn't need to play top babyface. He simply is top babyface. Little touches in like what he says makes his stuff feel different. We've had this come up recently with, I forget who Sidge was relating to, but Will Ospreay it was, about how some wrestlers feel like they're doing a good job of reciting material and some wrestlers simply do a good job of speaking. Cody Rhodes sort of does both. Clearly a lot of this is carefully prepped and put together, and yet...
But it's probably from him more than a script nowadays. Well,
the John Cena comparisons have been apt with Cody. Pick what thing John Cena does, and Cody does it, and in some cases much, much better. And this is another one, because Cena would recite any old crap, and it would like scan as... I like John Cena, but it would scan as fake feeling, or like he was an unreal character in an increasingly unreal world. Cody is often given that kind of verbiage and couldn't make it feel any realer for trying. It's one of his immense and like many immeasurable skills. And I loved him for it here. He just elevates. Like, he elevated the SmackDown GM, can't remember his name, in a way that, like, WWE authority figures typically can only get so high up. Cody is stood there, the WWE champion, the top guy in the whole industry, and he's actually sort of trying to put the SmackDown GM on the same level as him, as if to say, look, we relate, you understand. Like that.
There's a lot of references to him being a wrestler or being a former wrestler in this. Anything in that for you?
I think they've been very coy with that from the beginning for a reason. I think what was really smart about giving him this role was, I think it disarmed maybe some critics who just assumed he's good, but like, is he really the guy you want right now? Like, kind of a more of a ring general figure. Is that what WWE needs right now? And then he's kind of come in and he's done such a good... He's gotten over as this. The wrestler underneath the suit becomes a bit of a surprise, even though everybody already knows what he wrestles like and how he wrestles. I think the Cody match at All In 2018 is his best match ever. But I think they know they've got something there pretty much whenever both sides want it. Do you know what I mean? But after the report last week, I think about Wade Barrett too. I think you put him in physical angles, not necessarily to tease a return, but just to leave the idea there that...
I don't think the SmackDown GM is going to be in the Rumble, but I could see him working Mania, for example.
We talked about a match with Postman Pierce once upon a time that they can easily kind of get back to. This is a new era of young retirees that can still gew. And they don't need to be like the top of their game, but blazer comes off and they're absolutely jacked under there because they've stayed. It's a great way to stay in shape. Like they've stayed fit and healthy. They're worn down, but they're not broken down. Whereas like people that used to have CVs like those wrestlers would say, I'm kind of done. You might get me back once and that's it. Whereas they're just able to actually enjoy their kind of post full-time retirement life and come back the odd time. And I think I would include SmackDown GM in that. I think I would include Wade Barrett in that. There's more wrestlers that kind of fit that bill than ever before.
Yeah, I do think the SmackDown GM has got so much more that he could offer. I can never remember what his name is, unfortunately. But yeah, great stuff, and looking forward to previewing the face-to-face on Friday, of course.
Yeah.
Backstage, there's Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso and Sami Zayn, and there's the little bit of awkwardness between Sami and Jimmy, of course. But Jimmy informs them that Roman Reigns is on his way. He wants everyone to meet and get their heads together ahead of War Games, of course. And they still haven't got a fifth member, though, Jey reminds them. And Zayn says, actually, I've got an idea of someone else I can ask, actually. I'll be right back. And he heads off to go and speak to this person.
No fifth member, but a cool new T-shirt for the person that likes to join. Second time in 7 days, basically, I've popped for a Bloodline-related T-shirt because the OTC one with the little yeet speech bubble was good. This one was maybe even better. Just OG Bloodline, proper. I loved all these segments across the night. A shameless invisible camera be damned, because there's a fantastic one coming later on that if it isn't brought up next week, it's frankly inexcusable. But great all the same.
Then there was the first match in the Women's United States Championship tournament. Triple threat match.
Very unusual from
executive producer Paul Levesque.
Yes, not his sort of thing really to do triple threat tournament matches.
Like the names associated with it though, looking at that, all the brackets that they laid out. We'll talk more about this probably on the preview on Friday to run through the other names, but
I mean the proof's in the pudding, and this one was sweet.
The match was
I can't do those. He does that.
Candice LeRae, B-Fab, and Bayley. To be perfectly honest, A, we knew who was going to win this match when the three people came out, but B, this was a shameless attempt, but very successful one, I thought, nonetheless, to remind you that B-Fab is a lot more than just a manager.
Yeah, this is where I kind of want to praise indirectly the booking of this tournament / the way he does these things, because it is all the time, every time, is that you get a little story out of it and you get a bit of profile out of it. And I would say this match was really, really well agented to get the very, very, very most out of B-Fab, even though, as you point out, we kind of knew where the result was going. And I sort of, that's where I actually share Sidgwick's sentiment sometimes, that like, oh yeah, well done, he's done some good plotting. Nice one, Triple H. But like, I kind of do get wide-eyed at like just well done basics. Like there are 20 years of WWE and the last couple of AEW to show you that like the basics aren't necessarily as basic as they might appear to be.
Yeah.
And I do quite like that playing out as you would want it to as a result.
And a bit like a Fab Ice Lolly, there was 3 very different characters involved in this match. I really want a Fab now. They have Fabs in America?
I really want to watch this back and sort of watch you kind of panicked that joke might fall out of your head, or we might not be able to get back to it because you landed on an ice cream pun. It was like, well, we need to get to that.
Do they have Fabs in America?
I bet
they called it a weird name.
I bet they do, but I bet they're even better somehow. I bet there's like it's a 4-layer thing or something like that. Like
I'm not seeing any
Fab lolly. So for our American, are you a Fab guy?
I am a Fab guy.
But what about the lollies though?
Hey.
Ew.
I'm not really I wouldn't choose Fab. You know when we do the...
I'm a feast above a Fab. Feast off
fabbing. We worked together too long, mate. Yeah, what would you pick with... I was going to say quid. You can't get out for a quid.
I didn't realise they were tying to Thunderbirds. That's never really gone together in my head before, according to this Wikipedia
Well, that would
page.
make sense, because they were Fab, wouldn't
Yeah.
they? What does that stand for in Thunderbirds? I can't remember.
Fabulous.
The Fabulous Thunderbirds. It was something like...
FAB.
Yeah.
Fully audible broadcast.
Yeah, I've got fully acknowledged broadcast, but that'd be weird.
That's the Bloodline. Full acknowledged Bloodline. That's when they get
Thunderbirds. There you go, Brian.
Oh, Brian, if you make us Thunderbirds, that'd kick ass.
What's your favourite Thunderbird?
You'd have us on strings. I hated Thunderbirds as a kid. I thought it was a loser show for nerds. But I would go with the one in space.
Thunderbird 5.
Thank you. Yep.
Thunderbird.
You like Thunderbirds, I'm sorry.
I love Thunderbirds, me.
Right.
I was kind of a Thunderbird 3 guy, to be honest. Orange. A bit of affinity with that one.
Wonder why.
If you're unaware,
You look a bit like Brains.
Thunderbird.
Thunderbirds.
Thunderbird 1's the sort of Cody Rhodes of the Thunderbirds, leading the pack, obviously.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's number one. And then, like, Thunderbird 2, underrated, because let's not forget, Thunderbird 2 carries Thunderbird 4.
Thunderbird 2, I don't think it is underrated. I think that's the problem. I know all about
Great in the bath, Thunderbird 2.
I know all about Thunderbird 2. And I think that's, if anything, I think it's like overpraised. Like it's the green one, isn't it?
big green
I
one.
knew that. I think it gets the biggest push. I think when it comes to like Thunderbird lore, merch, exposure, I think it's like babyface, like old babyface era Roman Reigns. It's like Thunderbird 2, Thunderbird. Yeah, I like it. More Thunderbird.
It's carrying Thunderbird 4, though.
I know, but it's not carrying the business.
Okay.
I would rather have ginormous space station. What's the yellow one? Thunderbird 4.
Thunderbird 4, yeah.
I like Thunderbird 4, like sneaking in from like, oh guys, Thunderbird 2. I'm so bored of Thunderbird 2.
It's Thunderbird 4 Seth Rollins thing. So I'd rather have Thunderbird. Out of all the Thunderbirds, you're pushing Thunderbird 2 down my throat, but I actually prefer Thunderbird 4.
I would say if we're extending the babyface Roman Reigns analogy, it's probably Gary the Goat Garbett. But it's like, that's...
Thunderbird 3 Sheamus, obviously.
What is Thunderbird 3 again?
A big orange one.
I can't picture that one.
I'll show you a picture.
Thunderbird 1's a rocket, isn't it? A rocket ship.
Same as Thunderbird 3.
A red rocket.
There you go, look at Thunderbird 3. Oh, I had a Thunderbird 3 and someone broke it. My childminders.
Oh, no, that's Thunderbird 3.
Yeah, that's Thunderbird 3 there.
That's the red rocket.
Oh, it's
red rocket.
orange in my head for some
What's
reason.
everything, isn't it?
Red Rocket.
What's the Thunderbird 1 then? Is that
Thunderbird
blue?
when you're blue and silver, yeah.
That's also a rocket. It's got a humorous.
Red tip, isn't it?
It's quite Red Rocket-esque as well.
Thunderbird 2 there, you can see. Look, it drops down. That's...
This is what I mean. I think it gets too much credit, Thunderbird. So Thunderbird 5 is just a full-on
spaceship,
like NASA
yeah.
office,
It's got
isn't
brains on it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Thunderbird 5.
I like
Was
that.
Was Brains in Thunderbird 5 or was Brains back home?
I don't know.
And then,
Hey, whoa, what's happening there with Thunderbird 3? I never realised that was a thing.
and then you've got Lady Penelope and her old associate.
Formative, eh?
That's, that's me.
Yeah, you look like Brains. That's me.
I think we're all missing the real key point here is that none of this matters because Captain Scarlet kick all of the Thunderbirds.
I think people only remember a theme tune and don't give a toss about the rest of it.
The Mysterons scared the crap out of me when I was a kid.
As they
And Captain Black, was
Captain
it?
Black
Have the beard.
to mess with him.
No, he was just dirty.
Okay.
It was
like Derek Scarlet.
Yeah.
Derek Scarlet.
What about...
Let's give Parker a mention, by the way. I feel he always
that's
gets overlooked.
Penelope's
Yeah,
photo,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
boy.
Did you build friggin' Stacey Island or whatever it was?
I
believe you mean Tracy.
Tracy
Island.
Tracy Island, sorry. Stacey Island
That's
works
sister,
for
right.
NXT. She's
I
NXT.
thought Blue Peter was one of the most Tory shows I've ever
Oh,
watched.
it's
I
gross.
hated it. So
gross,
no.
Blue Peter, man.
Why did everybody want one of them badges
Yeah.
for years?
He's a cop.
Cody's got one, hasn't
Yeah, of course he has.
There he is, look. Oh, God, Captain Black. Look, he's gone dark there.
he?
He's in the house.
Yeah, he's just a
He's
heel
been
version
corrupted.
Heel version of Captain Scarlet.
Yeah.
That makes sense. He's Captain Blue then. Why is it blue?
I can't remember him. I feel like that's not one of the new ones, is it? Oh, hello.
What was the other? So Captain Scarlet's Raw. So that's Raw, SmackDown, and NXT.
When it was the dark.
Yeah.
Who's he? He's just called Captain Blue.
You're right. Of course he is.
We got to keep it simple.
What was the name of the guy that did all these? He
Jerry Anderson.
Jerry Anderson, that was it. He kind of had one idea, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, that was his... I remember when you could get some... he did puppets on strings. That was Jerry Anderson's deal. No disrespect. Like, it's kind of beautiful in a way, but yeah, you got what else? Like, I like that Jerry Anderson... there was a good range of Jerry Anderson pogs for a bit.
Ah,
They did,
I remember them.
Like the Keenies, the Slammers were really good, the Jerry Anderson ones. Them and the Chubba Chups ones. What else you got?
Oh, you say Chopper Chops, maybe. Well, I don't know. But yeah.
There was another one. Not Captain Scarlet.
Joe 90.
Oh, Stingray.
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 Joe Knighty, I liked.
I look a bit like Joe Knighty as well.
You do look a bit like Joe Knighty. Joe Knighty, I like, Nicholas. There was a big chair. It looked like a game show sort of thing, didn't it? Had a sort of air of...
Yeah.
Joe 90 was such a hit with young Nicholas that I just wore these little plastic glasses around the house for weeks.
I think Joe Knighty was the only aspirational figure that Jerry Anderson ever created. I look at Joe Knighty and I thought I would want a bit of that. Was it 90 because it was in the past and it was like in 1990, all men will look like Joe?
I honestly can't remember.
Like when you would
I
say
just
like,
remember loving that guy I had the figures, I had kits, I had all sorts.
A big circular chair, wasn't it?
Stingray.
Same again.
Stingray.
I think Stingray's just a theme, innit?
It's just okay.
And then there's that. And then it's like the sexy puppet swimming in the sea. Whoever she was.
Remember the a marina,
Yeah.
aquamarina.
Yeah.
Oh, back in the day, I was like,
my God.
She's single, gents.
no, I remember Stingray because they had the bit where the Stingray, the boat jumps out of the sea, goes back on a big old fish coming after it.
And they're on,
what
like-
episode's that?
They're on one, like...
Yeah, on Monster.
That reminds me of the old... is there a bit in one of the old Batmans where, like, they have to fly a helicopter away from a shark or something? Like Batman, like the Batman and Robins from, like, I'm going to date this horribly, but, like...
Adam West.
Adam West, thank you, yeah. I'm sure there's a bit with, like, or the sharks commandeered the helicopter. Google Adam West Batman. Google Adam West Batman shark. And just get an image of it. Google it now. It's like, Jesus Christ, the shark's at the wheel.
No, you're not wrong, actually. There's a shark here who's got a biting on his leg, or he's climbing up the ladder.
Batman's trying to climb a helicopter ladder, and the shark's like, get down here.
He's got a manta ray repellent and a shark repellent. You never want to get them two mixed up. It's a bloody nightmare, don't you? There he is. Different time, wasn't it?
Batman on holiday.
Who's better, him as Batman or Robert Pattinson?
Oh, Adam West. I don't think I've seen Robert Pattinson as Batman. When's Robert Pattinson been
Unreal,
Batman?
isn't it, Nicholas?
It's a great film, yeah.
Which one?
2022.
Was it The Batman?
The Batman.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that.
I'd be interested to see what your take is, but I know already you'd say it's too long.
How long is it?
Too long for your stupid ass.
How long is it?
It is runtime. Hang on. Batman runtime. 2 hours, 56 minutes.
God, 2 hours 50. That's too. Come on, Nicholas. That is too long.
It's great.
It's not.
That is 2
not
hours
long enough,
56
boo. Yeah,
for
but
a Batman.
Hang on. No, not for a Batman, for the Batman.
The
mate.
Batman.
Get it right.
Oh, that's fair.
And
Get it
Colin
right.
Farrell being unreal too.
So,
who?
but
Penguin.
about 10 minutes of that's going to be credits, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe 15 minutes.
Colin Farrell as a Penguin's interesting me. Going to the cinema tonight?
Going to see?
Who is Colin Farrell?
Red One?
Nope.
I know what you're going to see.
Yeah. Family trips to the cinema, so the kids have been allowed to stay up quite late
Why don't you
tonight.
think see Red One?
Because I want them to have a nice time.
Because he likes his kids.
I cannot wait. Legit. I
out?
could not be more excited.
No.
Paddington in Peru.
I'm dreading it, but I'm going to have to go.
Is that what you're going to see?
Not tonight, no, thankfully.
Oh, okay.
Maury's told me it's like Paddington meets Jumanji, and I hate both those things, so I'm dreading that. Not the new Jumanji. I haven't seen them.
What's out? I've not.
Wilbourn, I think going in the wrong direction. Right? He's
Think
old.
about me rather than thinking about the
He's
cinema.
old and he's got
An old
set his
Survivor
ways.
series just put on the cinema screen.
I mean,
No, but could you imagine that?
Come on, kids, we're going to the cinema. What are you going to see? Wrestling.
I'd be frigging caught out like Pee Wee Herman if that was on at the cinema.
no.
Jesus. I'm Gladiator 2? I don't know. I know what's...
That's the
No.
closest guess yet.
but it's a second and it begins with a G and it's old. So come on, you can do this.
It's old.
Yep.
I was like they're re-showing
Yep.
it.
Shall I recite a line from it that won't give it away?
Possibly.
Can I have this camera, please, Nicholas?
For you, absolutely not.
I was going to say.
There you go.
This won't give it away. Somebody get me the Ghostbusters.
It's a toughie.
Is it Ace Ventura When Nature Calls?
It is indeed. Ghostbusters 2.
Ah!
My
My
God.
favourite film at the cinema, and I've never seen it at the cinema.
Wow.
I cannot wait.
I'm not sure if I've seen Ghostbusters 2, you know.
Are you now nearly threw this in your face?
Is that the one with ghosts?
Yeah. Aye. It's Vigo, the painting. Pink slime on
I
New
don't
York
think
City.
I don't think I've ever actually seen it,
The
you know.
best Ghostbusters gear. They have like a navy blue away kit, and it looks...
Hang on a minute, right? So that means that when we were in New York and you were with Chris Thompson and you went to the Ghostbusters fire station, you were kind of just...
I knew.
were
I'm
just
like,
winging
it's one
it.
of those things where I don't think I've ever actually sat down. I know of it, obviously,
Yeah.
but I don't think...
Ghostbusters 1.
I don't know now.
Interesting.
I'm questioning myself. Oh, that'll be fun then. Is that going to be better than Juror number 2, do you reckon?
Ghostbusters number 2 or Juror number 2.
Yeah.
I genuinely quite enjoy Juror number 2, but I know I will enjoy cinematic version of Ghostbusters 2 more, just the big screen. I've probably only seen it like 100 times, so that like 101st, but bigger, is really going to hit different. I can't wait. And the kids are excited now as well because they've seen it. The first time they watched it, my youngest just got too scared. I was like, I can't judge you, I suppose. And then the second time around, he realised he should stop being such a loser and loved it. So he's game.
I will admit,
my eldest absolutely loves the pictures.
Despite the fact I may not have sat down and watched either of those Ghostbusters films, busting does still make me feel good. So, you know.
Yeah.
Let us know, American viewers, if you have fab ice lollies, and we'll get back to the triple threat for the Women's United States Championship tournament. Slight detour there. It was B-Fab, whose name actually sounds like an ice lolly now. Candice LeRae Bayley. LeRae immediately takes out Bayley, and B-Fab holds her own in there, more than does that, in fact. In fact, she double clothesline. I think one was on the apron, one was in the ring. Double clothesline both of them to take us to a break. When we come back, the babyface sort of teaming up on Candice, but then they're all down. LeRae hit a nice move where she hit a code breaker on Bayley, whilst also like sentoning onto B-Fab for a 2 count on both of them. They set up, great spot this, they set up for like a Tower of Doom spot, and then just at the last second, LeRae twists and turns it into a nice crossbody on Bayley, and B-Fab has to make
one
the
of them
save.
coming in the main event. Jesus Christ.
B-Fab then just chucks LeRae around, gets a 2 count. There's an inverted neck breaker onto Bayley from B-Fab that also gets a 2. Bayley comes back with a Bayley to belly on B-Fab. LeRae almost steals it, goes for a moonsault afterwards, but B-Fab moves. Then B-Fab slammed Bayley and kicked LeRae to the outside. Looked like she was setting up for a finish on Bayley, but Bayley rolled her up out of nowhere and got the 1, 2, 3. Good way of protecting B-Fab in the finish, I thought.
Loved it. Really, 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 really like this. It couldn't have been, like I say, I think once upon a time when we actually started talking about this match a couple of years back, just couldn't have been like agented any better for trying. Like B-Fab had what may as well have been like a debut match from an NXT call-up for all that she's been featured as a wrestler over the last couple of years. Almost never.
What was her last match? I looked this up.
I cannot remember. Weirdly, I feel like it was high profile, and yet I can't remember what it was. So that's a contradiction in terms.
You include she's had 4 WWE live show matches clearly in the build to this in November, but the last match was the Elimination Chamber qualifying Last Chance Battle Royal in February.
You know, like, she done any team matches with either Hit Row or the Street Profits or anything like that at all?
Not really on the main roster. It was all actually in the Rumble there.
Yeah.
Just a dark match against Natalya.
So terrific night for her.
Team with Meechin, though, against Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, so hopefully that's the direction that was alluded to as well.
Yeah.
That was on the live show tour if you're in, the UK bits of the show.
And it, again, didn't hurt to have her after the fact. I know we're jumping ahead a little bit, like, encountering, like, now she's got a match that her character can have existed in and lived through. She's got a story with this growing division.
She's only got 23 matches on her cage match. Fair play to how she looked in there for that.
Looked, this is what I mean, like, looked fairly solid, and I think a lot of that was down to Bayley and not to take away the credit from her at all, because she had to be there for it all, but like Bayley and Candice LeRae, all pros. Candice LeRae had a great night as well, and she doesn't have them all the time, but she's one of them wrestlers that you're always sort of still fighting for this title, Candice LeRae, aren't you? I was thinking how it doesn't look like it's going to go this way, but I would have loved it if the reason they folded her into the Nia Jax cinematic universe was so that they could put her in War Games, because she's known for having this great record in War Games matches, and she just has no problem getting violent. Doesn't look like it's going to go that way, but you could justify it potentially as like she's been a last-minute sub for a Tiffany Stratton before. They could do that one again because she's running late or something to set up. But who knows? But I just think like it's to have her on the heel side and not put her in War Games at this late stage is a bit of a shame, because she was tremendous here as well.
Bayley right choice winning as well. As I said, we'll speculate more on this maybe on Friday in terms of how this tournament should go, but you want people like that in the later stages.
Yeah, she's super credible as well. And they've got a cool, as always, thing going with her and Belair. Yeah.
Sami Zayn is chatting to L.A. backstage, clearly trying to get him to join the Bloodline for the War Games match. We'll get the result of that in a second. We see the footage of The Rock having a really fun time on Jimmy Fallon. We're all having a laugh. Good to see that pillow shot again, especially for you, Adam Nicholas.
That is... Can you press the cinema button for me, please? That's what that is.
When we were talking about this the other week, who did he ring where it was like, get it on WWE, show him I'm fine. Like, he's obviously made a call. Like, Triple H is like timing out with SmackDown. Paul, got a Rock on one. What? I don't have to do it after Survivor Series. He said, put him through right now. Cut 5 minutes of the women's match. Show them out. Show everybody I'm fine. I'm actually happy with this. Slams it down.
And it's funny because they did that and they were like, well, look here, just loves to have fun. And he's on GQ or whatever he's on the cover of. And they were like,
wearing really big shoes.
He's got like, I think they even plugged Moana 2 as part of all this. But they also said, Red One's in cinemas. And I saw Red One's number 1 at the box office. And I thought, well, everyone's been slagging it off and saying it's not done very well. And look at that. And then I saw how much money it made on its opening weekend and how much they spent on it.
Uh-oh. And like break even, is it, in Hollywood? You've got to like make X amount more realistically to break even.
And obviously, I remember seeing the old clip of like Matt Damon talking about how DVD sales used to be like, well, it's all right, we can save it. Not anymore. That's that. And it's pretty much like opening week or bust, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yep.
He's got
back to making dinner on WWE instead, I think.
He's got the Smashing Machine film coming, isn't he? And it feels as though now he's going to have like a actually serious actor.
Was that Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the Smashing Machine film?
Yes, that's right. He's playing the car in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. He's the titular role. He's going to do that.
I bet that's aged real bad, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
It's got a child catcher in it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I imagine that, but like in a wacky way. Get here, I've got a net. I don't think I've seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh, well, we'll put that on our list. Me, you. Red One, Ghostbusters 2, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Ace Ventura, probably.
The standard film night, the standard movie marathon.
Still need to watch the Jackass 4. The Dudley boys watch Jackass 4 together still.
Do you want to watch that?
I've avoided it.
Yeah.
I'm holding out for that night.
I would like to watch that.
But B-Fab is seen backstage after all this. And she's approached by Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. And Chelsea Green's like, good try. But then she also managed to say, me and Piper Niven are going to be United States Women's Champion. And B-Fab was like, and they say, when we win it, maybe you'll let you hold it one day. And she was like, you can't both be champion. Yeah. This was like news to Chelsea. What? And just as they're about to, kick her ass for suggesting that they quite clearly can't both win a tournament, in walks Meechin with a kendo stick and, well, Chelsea Green has flashbacks to being chucked in the dumpster and leaves quickly.
Nothing mega thrilling, but this is how you, again, do what I think they've been doing on SmackDown, which is trying to create a division again. Yeah. Trying to actually create tiers to this league of wrestlers, one of which is currently the champion, one of which at any given point is number 1 contender. Then you've got a secondary title, then you've got like a Money in the Bank briefcase. It is starting to look like it could be a healthy division again.
Mm-hmm. Then out comes United States champion L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you, he says.
He does, yeah.
Talks about Zayn off.
Is that on the board this week?
Yeah.
Nobody do that. Cody's got it this week. That's LA Knight's turn.
He talks about Zayn offering him to be involved in war games and the Bloodline Civil War. And I quite like this for a babyface to just go, I don't want that fight. I don't need that fight. In fact, if all the Bloodline destroyed each other, I'd be absolutely fine with that.
Yeah. More on this at the end of this segment. Yeah.
But he said, I'm out here because I'm not just going to defend the belt 2 times a year like Logan Paul did, and that got a nice reaction. And he's open challenge to the United States Championship. Out comes Legado del Fantasma, led, of course, by Santos Escobar, who grabs a microphone. Oh, forgot to mention, they plugged the fact that LA Knight was the Bucks, go Bucks, firing off the old T-shirt cannon. That looked like a load of fun. And
so did that.
Escobar.
What was he doing, sorry?
He's like sat in the chair. They had him in this big chair, didn't they? It was like a minigun.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like the old,
2 handles back here, weren't they?
Kill Mrs. Flanders, whatever her name was. It wasn't one of them, was it? It was a proper like one of them. Ned Flanders' wife called? Maud.
Maud Flanders.
That was it. Escobar grabs a microphone, says, you're not saying anything fun or interesting or cool.
Such a good Batista.
And he said, Milwaukee's crap in it, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
You should be saying, instead of L.A. Knight, you should be saying Escobar. See? And he says, it's time for someone to shut you up. Electra Lopez is going to win the Women's United States Championship, and I'll do the same for the men's title. And LA Knight, quite rightly, because I was thinking, oh, God, really? You're just going back to this, are we? You want anything planned till the Rumble or something?
Yeah.
He said, I already beat you. This lad here is staring a bloody hole through me, and it was Umberto, and he gets in Santos's face, LA Knight does, and Umberto attacks him, obviously setting up, when we come back from the break, a United States Championship match between LA Knight and Berto. I like the change up here.
Yeah, it's, I mean, we're going back there anyway.
Yes.
Don't get too excited. Like, they're going to have the match again. They might even have created that visual of the two of them with the belts for another day where either they do, or you have, like, where there's male and female bonds on the roster, you have the two of them win the titles at the same time. Maybe we will see one of the women in the women's division sort of link up a bit on screen with LA Knight, and then they could have a, like, oh, we've both won the belts at the same time. You got
Bailey.
Yeah.
Knight and Bailey.
I mean, that's the reason to do it, isn't it? But she'd be, you know, like the Triple H likes his sort of steadfast, dependable first champions.
Yeah.
So you could see that. Was it just me? Or if you count the Bloodline thing as part of LA Knight's evening, and then this promo and sort of stuff with Electra Lopez, a dickhead. And that's like sort of LA Knight, arrogant arsehole news at 11.
Oh, yeah, I missed out the bit where he basically said, I'll give you some pleasure, you.
Shag her and all. If anything, they'll probably have sex and fight. It was sort of, I know bombastic, braggadocious LA Knight is who he has always been and who he always will be. And it's always like, well, who are you doing it towards? The heels or the baby faces? That determines if you are a baddie or a goodie. But it was just like, it's quite a bit of you being an arsehole, mate. And then you come back from the break. Well, he's fighting champion, so it's fine.
He is going to be a great heel when he eventually goes back to it.
Yeah.
Maybe he is quite like The Rock after all.
So we come back, and the match is in progress. LA Knight does his awesome jump up to the top rope spot. Nails it, to be fair. Berto fights back, though. Hits a missile drop kick, and they're fighting on the outside as well at one point. And Knight just slams his head off the commentary table about 20 times. Gets a 2 count from a DDT. Umberto comes back, tries for a moonsault, but LA Knight gets a leg up. Then Umberto comes back again, puts Knight on the top rope, set up for a superplex, but LA Knight fights him off and hits that awesome jump up to the top rope, elbow drop spot, hits the BFT and retains the United States Championship. Not really much to say about it. It's like 4 minutes, this. It was all about the post-match, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, just fine, cold, but champions have got to win matches sometimes.
And as he's celebrating, they have the very tight-in shot on the turnbuckle, and you can sense something's coming. And yeah, he turns around and he's nailed by a returning Shinsuke Nakamura, who's in all black, and he's got blood, red on his face.
Yeah.
Looked very cool, to be fair, and signals his intentions.
The look was captivating, genuinely. This is a character that is so well established to the point of being boring, and you never, ever would have imagined... Adam Nicholas, would you have ever imagined in 2016 as Nakamura debuts and you're there in Dallas that this man could ever become boring? Probably not.
No, he was the most electrifying man in sports entertainment.
That's funny and true. And he became dull and drab, and you kind of dreaded watching him. And he got the Cody feud, and you're like, him, and all those things. And if nothing else, a fresh coat of paint for this night, maybe LA Night, and then that's it. Felt fresh and exciting. I must have watched this 5 times and still can't decide. Was the back elbow just like quicker than the human eye or a botch?
It was fast.
I couldn't tell because I was thinking I don't want to show my arse on this review in Phoenix window or otherwise and say, I missed him.
It's almost that time of year, isn't it?
He missed him by a mile. Or, well, I drilled him because I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Like the jacket was swinging with it, but the kick was great. And he pulled off this sort of new Diego Nakamura quite impressively for night one. So, why not?
Yeah.
Just why not? If a wrestler is dull or boring, just go route one and throw something else on them and see if it takes. And we'll see how this one goes.
Probably going to keep the mist, one would assume, with all this. Works for me. The Usos are talking backstage, and Zayn says, I'm not looking good. I was finding a partner. But then they head into Roman Reigns' dressing room. To take us to a break, we come back. There's also a video hyping the Royal Rumble, which is coming our way in February, of course. Oh my God. I cannot wait for that. I'm ready to be hurt again. I sent this on the news today.
One day they'll get one right, won't they?
Blueprint's right there. And it's from AEW.
The last holdout of WWE's current golden era. the Rumble stinks.
I have hope for 2025 Rumble, you know?
Yeah.
And I know I say that every year because it's the Rumble and it's just, you know, immediately back to your childhood sort of cheat code. Well, anyone could win it.
Yeah.
It's probably about 5 people. I think the women's one's pretty wide open.
It could be a boat.
But the women's one's pretty wide open. And I think it was Caitlin on the news today was talking about a potential Royal Rumble return. I was like, you just need to be less boring. It's really easy.
Caitlin's as good a name as any to just lift from a period of time where you just don't see wrestlers that often and you'd welcome someone like her back. We get to hoy thumbnails out with AJ Lee's picture on and keep our fingers crossed that she makes a surprise return.
Please.
I've got The Rock at number 31.
I've got The Rock at number 30.
And so you've got when he gave the ball to Cody Rhodes. There's lots of fun stuff to fantasy book for this year's.
But they're in the
Elimination Chamber's in a stadium.
Oh my God.
So that's going to feed directly into that. They're only a month apart because it's in February this year, the Rumble, isn't it?
Yes.
So February 1st. I want to say it's February 1st and March 1st. Is that right?
I'm not sure about the Toronto show, but they're definitely February 1st for the Rumble. And then Las Vegas for WrestleMania. That must be nice.
That'd be great, wouldn't it? Nice to go to that.
I should mention, by the way, there's a lovely surprise of finally having Adam Nicholas on a microphone. Isn't the only surprise coming your way this week. We are celebrating We Are One, of course, and I've mentioned all the stuff we're going to be doing throughout this week. But, hey, that's not all. Plenty more coming your way. Anyway, they're in Roman Reigns' locker room, and, they're like, we've been to Raw, we've been to SmackDown. That leaves one left that they could go to, but still.
Quite a bit intense for you, is it?
No one wants to work with the Bloodline. I mean, Trick Williams would be an incredible addition.
God.
It's not going to be, but...
Well, you just added a bullet point to the NXT preview tomorrow.
Yes. No one wants to work with the Bloodline. I wonder why. Jay asks Roman if he's made the call. Mm-hmm. More on that later. But whilst Roman's there looking grumpy, Solo's music hits and out comes the new Bloodline, to which Roman's like, I guess we're going out and fighting him right now. Because, we cut to the ring and Solo's barely told Milwaukee to acknowledge him when out comes the OTC and the rest of the OG Bloodline, as you say. And they stare each other down, jump on the apron. You think, is this going to be the moment they add the new member, they reveal a new member? No, they just get into a big brawl. Jay hit a big dive onto a few of them on the outside. Jacob Fatu murders everyone as only he can. Solo set up for a Samoan spike on Zayn, but Roman made the save, spearing Solo Sikoa, and that fires up Zayn, and he hits a dive onto everyone not named Jacob Fatu. And then there's that moment in the ring between Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns. But it's all a distraction because the newest member of the new Bloodline was set to reveal himself. It is Bronson Reed, who shows up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Takes out Roman, and there's a moment between Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu, the greatest new tag team I've ever seen. Reed hits a big splash on Roman, and Fatu hits him with that brutal-looking hip attack. The babyfaces tried to fight back, but the heels of the numbers game, of course. Fatu hits that incredible moonsault on Sami Zayn. Reed hit a tsunami on Jimmy. Roman's on the outside after what just happened, but he fights back. He takes out Tongaloa. He hits everyone, basically, with Superman punches until Solo grabs him and just really quickly Samoan spikes him. Fatu hits Roman with a moonsault, and Reed hits him with a tsunami, which Roman sells like he's had his ribs crushed, basically. And WWE officials are there to try and break it all up. But the damage has been done.
Fantastic brawl. Immediately had me pitching yet another virtually impossible spot for War Games, which I will hereby call the Moon Army, which is where Fatu off the cage, moonsault, Bronson off another corner of the cage, tsunami, both onto Roman as he lays there flat or something, and they have to save him. Or that's just how they beat him. I don't know. I love this. I loved this. We'll go back to something in a second because everybody else was talking about it, so we should too. But the idea of Roman getting there and them doing that, and it's invisible camera nonsense, but they're framing it a little bit as if this old dynamic is still in place. Like, despite what Jey Uso said and despite what it's taken for Sami to do the right thing and get back with the lads, Roman is kind of making them wait, and it's Roman's room and all that kind of stuff. And then here they are at the ring. It's like, right, we're going to go right now. And he's basically led them into an arse kicking. So that's bad leadership. That's unstable and uncertain tribal chiefdom. For the Bloodline, he's just not quite right now. And part of that is like loss recovery. Like, he doesn't have the belt, he doesn't have the power, he doesn't have maybe the confidence that he's trying to project.
Ulafala?
He doesn't have the Ulafala, yeah, of course. Like, so he's just not quite got it all. And obviously, a part of getting all that again is that he needs the support of everybody. They've got to raise him up, but trying to do the old version where he leads from the front is failing.
Yes.
It's failing as a strategy. You can't get there late. You can't lip off Jey Uso. You can't just like nope Sami Zayn or anything. And you can't say, right, in we go, boys, without like assuming that Solo's going to have a plan or something like that. It has failed. Roman's left on his back once again. That's all very important leading into like the closing shot for this edition of SmackDown and potentially what's to come and potentially the reason why, the reason why Roman Reigns will put his prior feelings towards a certain wrestler to one side and why that certain wrestler might put his feelings to one side will presumably play out in the week to come because of him feuding with Bronson Reed. I'm going to refer to this as electric basics because if you piece it all together, it's the thing you should have seen coming as soon as they announced Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins on last week's Raw.
Yes.
But I didn't. And then when you think about it further, you're like, well, Bronson Reed, if you want to, has got like tenuous links. Like there is Samoan heritage in Bronson Reed's life enough that they can have the conversation. They were at Raw backstage trying to do some business.
Pulling faces. Ooh.
And they've done some. Yeah. Solo's actually done some business here and he's not afraid to make calls that aren't the most popular ones.
Big business.
Big business. So they should label a show that. And he's done it.
Happy birthday, by the way, to Mercedes Martinez.
Well, speaking of things that people are enjoying catching on X.
Go on.
Go back and reliving it. As the new Bloodline make their way to the ring, I'll play host here and I'll put it to you, Bloodline aficionado yourself. They're walking to the ring and Roman, Jey, Jimmy and Sami see them walk into the ring. And then we see Sami Zayn, out of sight of the others, lift his mobile phone, his cell phone, out of his pocket and throw it onto the sofa before they go into battle. What was going on there? Because that has got, like, Twitter all abuzz.
Oh, I missed all this.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. People are slowing it to back into the left, the whole deal. Like, he throws his mobile phone away at the point at which the Bloodline are, like, backstage and they see that here come the new Bloodline. They go out to ring. And it's like, people are, like, speculating, like, could he just have been keeping it safe because he knows it's fighting time? Or did he kind of, like, not want to, like, be kind of caught? Is the wise man's number on there? Is somebody else's number, like, that he doesn't want Roman to see? Something like that. He, like, go back and watch it. At some point, he disposes of his phone, and it feels like nothing's for nothing, even if sometimes there are, like, red herrings within this story.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, but it's people were very much enjoying, like, what that could mean, if indeed it means anything at all, especially when we had phone law later on. So, something to keep an eye on.
Well, speaking of phones, I suppose, after this, we get a big recap of everything that's just happened, obviously, with commentators really putting over the arrival of Bronson Reed and the addition to the new Bloodline. And then Kevin Owens has posted a video on social media that they're going to throw to from his nice, fancy car.
Lambo.
Indeed.
Is that what it is?
I think that's what Cody said at the very least.
Yeah.
I'm not a car guy.
It's got those doors in it that goes like, those doors.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that
Called
you do.
suicide doors.
Suicide doors.
Oh, they're called
Yeah.
suicide doors. That's pretty dark.
It is.
Well, this is going to sound like a really stupid question. I apologise. Why?
Well, why do the doors go up, or why are they called suicide doors?
Yeah. What about that is like
Why?
Sounds like a great time to go to the toilet, this.
kill yourself doors? Why? Like, are they that dangerous or something that like? I just think they look silly when people have to get in the car like that. Yeah.
They were hinged at the rear edge, so if the vehicle was moving and they sprang open, anyone who grabbed to stop that happening was whisked out of their seat into the road.
Good lord.
Seatbelts were not in use at the time, so it was the old-fashioned
That
thing.
explains that then. Thank you very much.
Yes, I don't.
This is interesting. That.
I'm not. I suppose. Are they the right? Are they different ones? Because these are the ones that are opening. You know, the ones that they do the.
These
They
ones.
both open the same way. You know, like.
Oh no, it's not them. It's
Yeah.
like it's the ones that go like
What are the doors that go up?
up on a Lamborghini called
Scissor doors. So.
Sesame Dory ass.
and gull-wing doors.
I think it's them. Gullwing. I was doing this, and I should have been doing this.
I think you're right. You're thinking about scissor doors, I think, on a Lambo. I think gull-wing doors, they're more like... DeLoreans, have they got gull-wing doors?
Well, in my head they're the same, but now you're saying it, I am thinking of like sideways up or up and out. Who knows?
Either way, my car's got
them,
normal doors. Thank you very much.
Is it a normal door?
Anyway, he's in the car.
Or is the answer gold door?
And he said, look, I turned up for work, but I got turned away for what I did to Orton last week, trying to break his neck and kill him. But I only did what Orton asked me to do, show up, did my job, basically. I got a call now, though, I liked this, from the old flash of old Kevin Owens, the faux excitement that we used to get. He got a call from the SmackDown GM. He can't remember what his name is, but he's been told to be at next week's SmackDown in Salt Lake City, Utah, because at the behest of Cody Rhodes.
It's great, that, isn't it?
Love that version.
It's going to be the friggin' line twofold of security diagonally, isn't it? It's kind of like that for you, not for me, mate. Yeah.
He'll probably he does just sort of like expose everything. 6 of you will be in NXT next week, so
I know you.
Yeah.
Seen you on Level Up.
Owen said, look, I'll be honest, I shouldn't show up next week, but I will. I'll do it for me. Just remember, I'm doing it for you as well. When I do it, just doing my job. And this has been excellent what they've been doing with Kevin Owens recently.
Brilliant again. Delivery's perfect. The content's really strong because you've created this whole world around Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes that really makes for a fantastic main event, a title match if Survivor Series, but a main event if it's something like Saturday night's main event, while at the same time existing for about 3 other things as well, like Sami Zayn down the line, Cody and Randy down the line, one more run against, now that he's a heel, against a babyface Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much that you do that spins off of this, and this alone is great. I love it.
Really, really good stuff. And then we got another title match. We got 3 title matches, of course, across this show. This was for the tag team titles. It was the Street Profits challenging the Motor City Machine Guns. MCMG in control early on, double team moves. But Montez Ford, looking great, by the way, fires up, hits a strong clothesline to take over. Alex Shelley rolled to the outside and got that pounce shoulder block thing from Dawkins over the commentary table to the break. When we come back, Shelley's still in trouble, but Chris Sabin of the Motor City Machine Guns gets the hot tag, takes out both the Profits. They work them over really well. There's one point where Chris Sabin just dropkicked Ford in the back of the head. But the Profits fight back and are basically setting up for the finisher. Dawkins is putting one of the Motor City Machine Guns on his shoulders. Tez is climbing to the top rope. And then suddenly, Ford gets shoved off there by a pissed off Tommaso Ciampa who attacks the Profits. Johnny Gargano shows up. What are you doing, Tommy? And he shoves him over and storms off, ranting and raving about how it should have been them fighting for the tag titles or being the tag champions, arguably. Afterwards, the Motor City Machine Guns, sorry about him, guys. Hey, good fight, good night. We'll do this again soon. Quite rightly, Angelo, piss off.
Yeah.
Just levels Alex Shelley, and the Profits storm off as well. A satisfactory DQ. I
like to think that we are balanced about when the times are right to do a finish like this and when they're not. I was going to say a screwy finish, but I'm not sure how screwy this was because it developed in advance to bunch of stuff. Like, I know that some people just have a really hard line on that, and I get that. Like, and I extend this to AEW as well. I think there's a time and a place for a DQ and a count. I agree. And I don't think we should use the example set by 20 years of bad WB finishes, like in the worst of Vince McMahon's excesses, as a reason to necessarily just do away with it completely. This was
a DQ for DQ's sake. Oh, we can't possibly have a winner of this.
We previewed this match and talked about how they've really created something that kind of has no out, if you will. And I think some people would consider this DQ an out, and I don't ultimately. The Street Profits attitude was championships or bust. And what they've experienced,
they re-put over on commentary again, the 4 years or whatever it is.
And what they've experienced here is bust. So as a result, Angelo Dawkins be like, well, if we're boss, I'm going to smash your face in. So like he's completely lost patience with everything.
Because it's mainly been Montez Ford, you'd say, who's been the
And Montez Ford,
WrestleMania.
he won't be far behind. Like there's no Ciampa and Gargano. Are they on the same side here with the Street Profits? They're going to kick some ass over this, and they're going to want to stay in the hunt. You might see the Motor City Machine Guns be magnanimous about it and offer a rematch. And then you get a full out. Then you actually do the finish, and the Profits lose.
Or Ciampa's like, you joking? Another match for them?
Yeah, it's another problem for the SmackDown GM. Can't remember his name to have to solve because he bans interference or whatever. I don't like to have to do this, but I'm going to do it specifically for this one. And in the meantime, you've been left with this continuing intrigue of if Ciampa and Gargano are going to end up doing this turn together or separately. I really, really, really want Johnny Gargano to turn with Ciampa. I don't want the split. I want this to sort of be. I want this to be a bit of false foreshadowing. I want it to look like Gargano's all sad and he wants everybody to be friends, guys. And then he's just like this smug dickhead. He's like,
put Candice with him as well.
Yeah, actually, Tommy, I think you've got a point. And they just snap on the guns.
Yeah.
Like Shelley in particular thinks he's got Gargano's trust. And then that's the moment where DIY reveal. No, I'm with him, if I'm honest. Like, I think he was right. I've given it some thought. He's right. And they just turn heel outright. Because I
can't wait. If that happens, I really like that as the direction. I can't wait to see the joy on Ciampa's face when he's like, that's it.
Yeah. Like, rubbing his hands together. We've done it. Just want to say, like, love Pretty Deadly.
Yes, boy!
And we have our fun with A-Town Down Under. But what a potential levelling up of this tag division with heels, the Street Profits and DIY are against babyface champions, Motor City Machine Guns. This is what, like, say, with the women in the tags, you kind of do just have to sometimes have better acts and book better with those better acts. And this is the case with both, I would say.
And then new babyface team, Andrade and Mello come through.
Yeah. Hi, the new bar.
Naomi's in the back. Bayley's... I don't know about you, Bayley. In the best possible way.
Yeah.
Hey, there she is. She's fighting for the title tonight. I'm fighting for the US title, which is basically the same.
Someone's turning eventually, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can't trust Io Sky, though, she says. And there's Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Bianca, I've not forgotten about you, Bayley.
I can't trust you.
Yeah. People always talking about people you can't trust.
Yeah.
I remember. And Cargill said that they've got Naomi's back for anyone later on.
I love this.
They did until what happened.
I love this overlap when you've got Bayley and the big three with like Naomi in the middle. Like who's got her best interests at heart and like why she doesn't want to have to pick between these two sides, but these two, there's a very, very good reason.
I'm very excited for Bayley, to be like, all four of us, we're all mates.
They could do that.
I'm mates for them.
Yeah.
You were a dickhead.
Especially behind me, like, categorically not. You're not. You don't go here.
We're all fighting to help. Well, you cut a Costa with getting attacked in the main event, but still.
Yeah, nice this. Good overlap again with the EO thing and with, I mean, in it, goodness me that it, like, serviced the main event.
And it, like you say, it wasn't just like, look over there, whilst this main event, because I thought the main event was really, really good.
What a piece of business this was.
It was the WWE Women's Championship on the line. It was Naomi challenging, of course, with Statton staying in the back for the time being, at least. Nia Jax early on, I like this because, yes, Naomi has got that shock win over Nia recently, but tail of the tape, on paper, Nia Jax should be chucking her around and toying with her like she did in the early stages. But Naomi can come back in moments where, like, Jax missed a strike. There was also a bit where Naomi came back and Jax just picked Naomi up and just went... Have some this.
Her power, honestly, that's one example, but I would say probably since the summer, her use of her power and her physical dominance is improving by the match. I shouldn't really be saying it, like we're 9 years into when she first appeared on NXT. Like, she's getting so much better. Like, I know people just like the sort of clear delineation of this current run, but I would say you see improvement in Nia Jax every single week. This is... who's the best example this year? Probably Ospreay or Swerve. Another wrestler, like, running with the ball.
Yeah.
Nia Jax.
Naomi here, suicide dive to come back from that, to take us to a break. When we come back, Jax is back in control. She hit a headbutt to Naomi's back and then put her in a single leg crab. Went for a power bomb. Naomi turned it into a destroyer.
Oh my God.
Incredible.
That wasn't the only wild reversal in this match. Naomi, comes back, crossbody from the second rope, hits the rear view out of nowhere, but only gets a 2 count off the back of that.
Hot near fall.
Yeah, there's several in here. She keeps trying to keep on top of Nia Jax, but runs straight into a pop-up Samoan drop for Nia to take back over. Jax sets her up in the corner for a finish, but Naomi stands up and dumps Nia Jax to the floor, and there's a crossbody on the outside.
We strike me somebody that would like knickknacks.
Oh my God.
Backstage, though, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair have their heads caved in by, of course, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. And here comes Tiffany Stratton as well, involved in all this. Beats Naomi up a bit when the referee's not looking, chucks her in. Chucks her back in. Jax goes to the second rope, but Naomi cuts her off. Jax went for a body slam off the top. I've written here, super small package. I don't know what the move was, but it was like last second reversal from Naomi. It was jaw-dropping.
I'd like the snap of a crucifix, didn't it? Like, if you haven't seen it, like, so Nia's going to do a top rope body slam, and so if you imagine that Naomi, in order to roll through a body slam in midair, she's got to her body's got to travel all the way through Nia's grasp and end up at her back. And then snap her down and shoulders first onto the canvas. Yeah. It's so well executed, and just not, again, like, just not something that, like, typically you would get in a Nia Jax match because of her, like, reasonable limitations, because she works as like a physically dominant wrestler rather than somebody that, like, worries too much about a spot like that. This was, like, as amazing as it was remarkable as it was, like, red hot in the building, because that's just, like, at this point you've seen a kick out from a finisher, and it's like, that's when the fan brain goes, Naomi's not going to get it done. And then you see something like this and go, isn't she? Yeah. They had me completely. And then the sports entertainment nonsense made it better.
Yeah. So after that, she gets a great 2 count off the back of that, as we say. Bayley runs out and attacks Tiffany, who's still out there, trying to help her mate, of course. And we get another near fall from Naomi rolling up Nia Jax. Naomi runs her into a ring post, and another great 2 count off a split-legged moonsault.
Brilliant.
Which she does the WWE facial, but it really was earned, I thought, at that point. So Naomi decides to go up top again, but in amongst all this, Candice LeRae comes out and attacks Bayley. That distracts Naomi for that crucial split second, and it allows Nia Jax to recover and grab Naomi and hit a super Samoan drop from the top to get the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, just to my point earlier on, really, like, really quite smart introducing Candice LeRae when you did that week that Tiffany Stratton was mysteriously ill. You've kind of, like, you've sown the seeds for this push for Candice LeRae ultimately as a difference maker in Nia Jax's life. There are multiple examples now where Nia can be like, Tiffany, you're kind of screwing up. Candice, you get it right all the time.
Yeah.
And that's a far more, based on the amount of times they've now done the Money in the Bank tease and it's starting to get a bit old hat, this divide is far more interesting and brand new. So I'm buying into this. And again, if Candice LeRae does make it into that War Games match,
they do the Lonely Island and Candice LeRae.
It's like they've really, like, they've got obviously a kind of a cheat code for that women's match to rule anyway. Like, I've seen in person Candice LeRae and Rhea Ripley win one together. Like, they're both perfect. Like, hypothetically, should Rhea Ripley make it back in time for this match? Come on. Like, but yeah, I think she'd be fantastic in that.
Yeah. So, I thought that was the end of the show with Nia Jax standing tall with, as you say, Candice LeRae and Tiffany Stratton by her side. Mm-hmm. Some blood as well.
Oh my God.
I don't know where it come from, but great.
Yeah.
But just as we're about to go off the air, we cut to Roman Reigns alone in his dressing room. But he's got a plan. I should have mentioned, after earlier on the new bloodline, he kicked the crap out of the OG bloodline. Jey Uso repeatedly saying, make the call, make the call, make the call. Well, Roman does make the call. He says, Siri, call. Sorry, everyone, if that's just set something off for you. Call the wise man. And he sat there smugly. This will sort things out. And then you hear, boop, boop, boop. The number you've reached is not in service. Boop, boop, boop. The number you've reached is not in service. And Roman drops his phone. Roman can't reach the wise man anymore.
I got lost in a thought spiral there, where you audition to become the voice on phones when a number you have reached cannot be reached, or whatever it is. And then I was like, well, they're not going to pay people for that anymore. They've got AI for that. And then I thought, I wonder if there's currently enough AI for like somebody to make like a sat-nav track from our podcast. Where it's just us dickheads saying turn left in stupid ways.
We could definitely, there's definitely...
Twat-nav. I don't know. I mean, this was gripping, wasn't it? This was absolutely gripping. My mind was cast back to, I think this was even before Tonga Loa showed up, when Solo caught, I say caught, it was in the middle of the frigging ring. Oh, Roman Reigns, he snatched the phone off him and trod on it. Like, is that part of this? Paul Heyman's just been told, and don't get a new one. Like, otherwise, if we find out you've gone and got yourself a burner, we'll put you through a table again.
And they know how to find out because they've got to check anyone ordering a phone case that says the Bloodline written on it.
That's it. We know that's his case.
Because Ava's been shown that, of course. She hasn't got Sarah Sherrock's daughter and general manager of NXT.
That's right. So like he's either not got his phone still because of Solo, and Roman has misunderstood this because he wasn't watching TV at the time.
So is Roman going to have to write him a letter?
There's no television on the Isle of Relevancy when he's swinging his knob about, is there?
No.
So he wouldn't say, yeah, Roman Reigns, like...
It'll be like pigeon next week, carry a pigeon, and then like they could like... Jacob Fatu could like moonsault it out of the air or something.
And then cameras cut to a remote location, and Paul Heyman is filling in a return note, scribbling it down, and he puts it in the pigeon's, whatever that thing is that's attached to the claw. But then he's not sure if the weather conditions are just right for the pigeon to fly safely to Roman Reigns, even though that's what they're trained to do, weather matters. And so he has to check their wind, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. So he goes like...
Yeah, you lick your finger, don't you? And up in the air.
And that's how he checks. And it's like, oh, he's great. He's going to acknowledge Roman Reigns again. And that's like, at this point, we think, well, thanks to the pigeon segment, we know that he's definitely a babyface. And then when he turns, it's going to be a twist. Because in the pigeon segment, we would have never seen it come.
So in that scenario, we would be the pigeon detectives.
That's good stuff. That's excellent humour.
Deep mid-noughties indie band pull.
I never even liked the Pigeon Detectives. What was
I
that
like
big
the
song?
pigeon. I'm not sorry.
Type.
Which one, sorry?
Romantic type.
Sorry, romantic type.
Can we sing a bit of it? I'll know it, obviously, but I don't.
No.
I'm not sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Is that Pigeon Detectives? Or is that another one of the indie landfill?
That's another one of the songs.
Yeah, I remember that.
I like Pigeon Detectives.
Mean nothing to me. Like I think when they came along, my best days were over. So I was resentful that like bands were still happening when I was no longer getting to like listen to them as much. So.
Peak Wilbourn uni years, I think that one.
That little age gap.
Boy Kill Boy, all that sort of thing.
Boy Kill Boy before that because that was still when I was happening.
Well, I went to see Boy Kill Boy. Mind you, that was my first year, so you were probably on the old other side of that hill, weren't you?
Yeah. Boy Kill Boy were headlining an Enemy tour. Also had the long blondes on it, and When the Life Was Better. Susie.
Susie. I remember that one.
It's funny how you spell Susie with ta-ta-ta at the start, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ta-ta-ta, Susie.
Or you could have Paul Heyman putting a message in a bottle. You have Sting in WWE.
Indeed you could.
Coming back.
Coming back, yeah, he's unretired.
the old Jim Ross thing. Sting's coming back. And not that one, but...
He's going to be the Bloodline's fifth man, and then Seth Rollins just powerbombs him into the book and says, I want that job.
I've been doing tantric preparations for this epically long Bloodline match because we know how they go.
Paul Heyman's been attacked by the original Bloodline again. He says, call the police. And then the band just turn up and start playing. Not them. I'm in real trouble here.
That's SmackDown Review. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch they can follow all three of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at...
Michael Hamflett.
I tell you what, you can follow our brilliant producer at...
It's Adam Nicholas.
Oh, I like that.
Big celebration this week. We are one. You can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. And if you're catching this really early, join us from 2 p.m. GMT on the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast YouTube channel for our big celebration and the Full Gear live stream, of course. But this has been the SmackDown review, whereas we've just mentioned Roman Reigns can't reach the wise man after Bronson Reed joins the new Bloodline. We saw Nia Jax versus Naomi for the title, Tommaso Ciampa snapping, and Shinsuke Nakamura returning.
The SmackDown review. It's got all this and so much more.
We'll see you soon.